Jeff Bezos' growth mindset video. Amazon founders gamble. On a quiet evening in the mid-1990s, in a small rented apartment in New York, a man sat at a simple desk covered with scattered notes and a bulky computer that still hummed like a machine from another era. That man was Jeff Bezos. Outside his window, the world moved on without noticing. Inside, he was sketching an idea that sounded absurd to most people at the time, selling books through the internet. Imagine the scene. He had a high-paying, secure job in finance on Wall Street. He wore suits every day, enjoyed stability, and knew that if he stayed, life would be comfortable. Yet something inside him whispered, the internet is growing at an unimaginable pace. He read statistics showing how quickly online usage was rising, and he could not shake the thought. If I do not try this now, I will regret it forever. This was not the story of instant genius or overnight wealth. It was the story of a man who walked away from certainty to chase a fragile dream. He chose risk over security, uncertainty over a guaranteed paycheck. Friends doubted him. Colleagues called him reckless, and even his parents hesitated. Still, Jeff Bezos and his wife drove across the country, car packed with a computer and a vision, ready to gamble on the unknown. Before we continue, let me pause to ask you something. Which city are you joining us from, and what hour is it there? I always love to know where these stories are reaching you. Welcome to the Learn English Listening channel. I am Lydia, and together we will explore not only English phrases, but also the deeper lessons hidden inside stories of extraordinary resilience. The early years of Amazon were anything but glamorous. Newspapers wrote that the company was bleeding money year after year. Investors doubted whether the strange experiment of buying books online could ever work. People laughed at the name Amazon and wondered why anyone would trust a credit card number to a website. As the company expanded beyond books, the pressure only grew heavier. Amazon lost billions while trying to build warehouses, shipping networks, and new product lines. Analysts openly predicted failure. Television anchors called Bezos just another dreamer who will fade away. Imagine living with that constant storm of voices telling you that your vision is impossible. One of the sharpest failures was the Fire Phone. In 2014, Amazon launched its own smartphone, hoping to compete with Apple and Samsung. It was supposed to be a bold step into consumer electronics. Instead, it collapsed almost instantly. Reviewers mocked it, customers ignored it, and the losses reached hundreds of millions. For many CEOs, such a humiliation would have ended the journey. Jeff Bezos admitted the disappointment, but he also revealed something rare, the courage to sit with failure instead of running from it. Brené Brown often describes vulnerability not as weakness, but as the birthplace of growth. Bezos embodied that. He stood before shareholders, critics, and his own team and said, "We will keep experimenting. Failure is part of the process." Think about your own life. Have you ever felt stuck in the same way, trying, failing, and wondering if the world is laughing at your efforts? For those in their late 20s or 30s, the pressure of comparison can feel crushing. Friends seem ahead, careers look unstable, and relationships bring uncertainty. It is in these moments of struggle that reflection becomes powerful. Bezos teaches us that stumbling is not the end, it is a pause, a reminder that growth always asks for patience. Behind the public failures, there was a hidden key that few people noticed. Jeff Bezos was never chasing short-term applause. While others obsessed over quarterly profits, he cared about building something that would outlast temporary storms. He called it his long-term vision. That phrase is simple, but powerful. It means shaping choices today, not for next week, not even for next year, but for the next decade. Most leaders feel the need to deliver quick results to satisfy impatient investors. Bezos refused to settle for that game. He told his team that the path of innovation requires sacrifice, money lost, experiments abandoned, reputations questioned. To him, those were not signs of disaster. They were signs of progress. This is where the second phrase comes in: take risks. To take risks is to step into the unknown without a guarantee of success. For Bezos, risk was not something to avoid. It was the price of building the future. Think of how radical this mindset was. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the dot-com bubble destroyed countless companies. Yet Bezos held on, not because Amazon was winning, but because he refused to give up. His phrase was clear: never settle. Never settle for average service. Never settle for the limits of today. Never settle for the comfort of the familiar. Sometimes the hardest part is not in choosing the vision, but in waiting for it to take root. Bezos often spoke about how patience is a competitive advantage. While others rushed to show immediate success, he believed in slow compounding. This mindset, though frustrating in the short run, created space for bold ideas to grow without fear of being cut down too soon. These three simple English phrases, long-term vision, take risks, never settle, are not just lessons in business. They are phrases you can carry into your own life. Repeat them slowly. Let them sink in. Each one holds a seed of encouragement. If you have a dream, these words remind you that patience, courage, and resilience matter more than quick applause. The hidden key is this: success is not about avoiding mistakes, but about building a foundation that's so strong that even when mistakes arrive, the vision remains. The turning point for Amazon did not come from smooth victories. It came from a mix of dramatic losses and unexpected breakthroughs. After the Fire phone collapsed, many assumed Bezos would retreat. Instead, he doubled down on experimentation. Out of those risks emerged Amazon Web Services, a project no one outside the company believed would matter. Today, AWS powers businesses, governments, and startups across the world. What began as a side experiment became a pillar of modern technology. Then came the Kindle. At a time when physical books seemed untouchable, Amazon launched an e-reader that redefined how millions consumed literature. Critics who had once mocked the company now admitted that Amazon had changed an entire industry. Each triumph seemed to rise directly from the ashes of failure. The emotional climax of Bezos' story is not about profit. It is about transformation. Imagine the sleepless nights after the Fire phone disaster, the stock dropping, employees questioning the direction. Instead of hiding, Bezos told them, "If we are going to invent, we must be willing to fail." He reframed failure as a sign that they were truly pushing limits. And what about us? Think of your own struggles. Maybe your career path has felt shaky, or your personal projects keep hitting walls. What if the setback you see today is the very soil that will feed tomorrow's breakthrough? That is the heartbeat of this story. Resilience is not the absence of pain, but the courage to continue when pain is loudest. So let me ask you now, not as a test, but as an invitation. If you could change one habit this week, what would it be? A single shift, even small, can become your version of Kindle or AWS, the unexpected change that alters everything. The contrast between failure and success was dramatic. One day, Amazon was mocked for a clumsy phone. The next, it was celebrated for changing how the world reads or how businesses run online. That swing of public opinion reminds us that applause and criticism are both temporary. What endures is the quiet courage to keep building when no one is cheering. Think of Amazon not as a corporation, but as a tree in its early years. In the beginning, you could hardly see its growth. Above the ground, it looked fragile, even weak. But underground, the roots were reaching deeper, strengthening silently. Every year of loss, every failed experiment was not wasted. It was root work. Without roots, a tree cannot weather storms. Your life works the same way. The projects you start and abandon, the efforts that seem invisible, are often the roots you are planting. They prepare you for winds you cannot yet see. Jeff Bezos reframed failure as nourishment. When Fire Phone collapsed, it did not destroy Amazon. It fertilized the soil for Kindle, Prime, and AWS. What looked like wasted seasons became compost for the future. We often wish for growth that is quick, clean, and free of setbacks. But real growth is messy. It comes with mistakes, delays, and doubts. Healing begins when you stop judging the dirt and start trusting the roots. So take a moment and ask yourself, which struggle in your life might actually be root work? Could the rejection, the slow progress, or the uncertain path be forming strength beneath the surface? Just as Amazon's unseen roots supported its rise, your hidden efforts may be preparing you for a season of unexpected flourishing. There is beauty in seeing mistakes as seeds instead of scars. Bezos treated every failed launch as a chance to gather wisdom and redirect energy. Think about that in your own journey. Could the projects that never worked actually be training your resilience? What if the very soil of disappointment becomes the ground where your strongest growth will rise? At this point, the story of Jeff Bezos and Amazon offers us more than business lessons. It leaves us standing at a crossroad. On one side is comfort, the safe job, the predictable path, the choice to avoid embarrassment. On the other side is growth, the willingness to gamble on ideas, to accept stumbles, and to keep moving forward with faith in the unseen. Bezos reminds us with 3 phrases that echo like signposts. Long-term vision, look beyond the horizon, take risks, step into the unknown, because the greatest discoveries are never guaranteed. Never settle. Do not let comfort become your ceiling. Now, the decision rests with you. Maybe your challenge is not building a company, but starting a small side project, learning a new skill, or choosing to stand up for yourself in a difficult relationship. Whatever it is, you are standing on that same road, comfort or growth. At this moment, you stand between comfort and growth. Which path will you take? If this video gave you something meaningful, share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And subscribe to keep walking with us on this journey of English and self-growth. Together, we are not just learning words. We are shaping the mindset to carry us forward. Growth will never announce itself with certainty. It whispers in the late nights when you wonder if the risk is worth it, in the quiet mornings when you start again despite exhaustion. Comfort may give rest, but growth gives meaning. As you stand at your own crossroad, remember, the most important journey is often the one no one else understands yet.